The United Nations Parliamentary Assembly is an effort to overcome the democratic deficit in global governance by bringing citizen representatives and giving them a voice at the UN. We need it because there are a growing number of global problems that are common to people in many parts of the world, and they are not being adequately resolved by nation states, each acting on their own interests. We need a body that represents the global common interest. The United Nations Parliamentary Assembly would be composed of parliamentarians sitting at the UN as a world parliament, as a United Nations Parliamentary Assembly. The likely construction of such a UN Parliamentary Assembly would rely on Article 22 of the UN Charter, which allows the General Assembly to create subsidiary organs, and the Assembly would be composed of national parliamentarians on loan, a few from each national parliament, to sit as UN parliamentarians at the UN. While the General Assembly is a body made up of representatives of nation states. There are 193 at the moment, plus a couple of observers. The Palestinian Authority is an observer, the Red Cross is an observer, but it's primarily a forum for nation states. However, the United Nations Parliamentary Assembly would be composed of parliamentarians, and they would sit as UN parliamentarians as citizen representatives at the UN, and would be mandated quite differently than the representatives of nation states, whereas states bring their own particular national interests to the discussions at the General Assembly. Parliamentarians in a parliamentary assembly would be charged to think about the global common good. So it's quite a different perspective, and would yield different types of decisions and conclusions. The main problem that the proposed UN Parliamentary Assembly addresses is the democratic deficit in world affairs. Presently, the UN is a forum for negotiation and bargaining among nation states, but the world has evolved tremendously in recent decades and is becoming a genuine world community. There are interests that are common to all peoples and a multitude of stakeholders that aren't presently represented at the UN. So on those common interests that are shared by people everywhere, we need a parliament. That's how governance works at the level of the nation state. We have parliament to make the compromises and make the laws on behalf of the national community, and the feeling is that we need to develop a parliamentary function alongside the United Nations to make it a better functioning world institution for the 21st century. The main problem is that the reform itself would require a two-thirds vote of the General Assembly, and nation states do not want to dilute their own authority at the UN. So we need to build up support among other stakeholders, parliamentarians, experts, NGOs, those who already operate at the UN and have an interest in seeing it become even more effective. And lately what we're seeing is that some states that want the General Assembly to take on more authority vis-a-vis the Security Council, which is the part of the UN machinery that has binding authority. Those that feel that the General Assembly, as the entity that represents all of the member states. The way to strengthen the General Assembly is to add to it a body of parliamentarians. So adding a parliamentary assembly would also strengthen the General Assembly vis-a-vis the Security Council. I would check out the international campaign. UN Parliamentary Assembly, what is it? UNPAcampaign.org is the website, and endorse the international appeal if you agree with what you see there, and then see if and contact the Canadian section of the World Federalists to learn how to become more involved.